I like the cute idea. By the way, I just hit record. I like the cute idea of that people would be loving forever and kind and always work hard just for. But when you have real food that can be generated by a machine, real sex that can be generated by a machine, and real experiences of planets, wind, sound, light, heat, and earth, I'm sorry, man, but like,
I'm out.
I mean, everybody, everybody's SO is great, but if you could make a digital version of them, they'd be better. I'm just saying.
I agree, 100%.
Admittedly, I would be into that like social media thing of the holodeck. Like, no, I love my real meat sack friends to be in there with me. That'd be great.
Right.
But it would be like a party of like 8 people. And that's just like, okay, let's do whatever we want to do forever.
It would make murder mystery parties really exciting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially what setting you had it on. That's where it gets real interesting. Is it the lethal or the unlethal? Do you need security officers to help?
Have the safety settings been deactivated?
I would prefer the safety settings be on.
Yeah, I just haven't adjusted. I'd probably be around 2 to 3. Like, I want to know that it's affecting me, but not like actually like paintball level, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Holodeck. I don't actually want to leave with like a bruise.
Right. Right. That's fair.
That's literally the antithesis of holodeck in my opinion, anyway.
All right, guys.
Leave with like a black eye.
How do they actually work though? Because you always see like O'Brien's in sick bay because he like pulled a muscle or something.
Someone's forever killing themselves playing Parisi Squares.
Always.
And we don't know what the fuck that game is.
Is this our intro now?
Very dangerous, and children are not allowed to play it.
Yep, you're correct. All right, everybody, and welcome to The Mixer. Today we have got Josh with us from our regular cast. We have Ashley Litchford with us, and we have our guests, Larissa Maestro, everybody. You can tell us more about your life later, but she's our guest, and she's our awesome guest. We're going to talk shit. We're going to talk things. Audience, we might talk to you later. We might talk to you often throughout it. Who knows? Who cares? We'll definitely be talking to each other. Glasses up, I guess. I guess the music will probably pan out about now.
Ooh. Space beer don't even need a glass, apparently.
Oh, yeah. No, that's cool. The glasses almost disappeared in that gravity. That's nice.
That's super funny.
Sorry for the people who aren't watching this and listening to it on podcast, but that was a cool effect. Ashley currently has a holodeck green screen behind her, by the way, which is why we've been on this conversation.
You too can make this happen for $4 at the dollar store. With 4 pieces of green poster board, you too can have your own holodeck.
Oh, I gotta make myself a green screen, you guys. I need to make it happen.
Literally cost me $4 today.
Well, at least
that's still somehow too much effort for me.
It's like I'm tired of sitting in my own room every time I talk to someone.
No. So me, it's like, $4 easily. Going to the dollar store, that's a high price.
Oh no.
Go to the dollar store. Fucking build the set. Like, I'm good.
Let's be clear.
Do I have seeds somewhere? I know I have some pieces of cardboard. I can like rig this myself.
Yeah,
I don't have
just exactly what I did.
Project.
I had to go to the dollar store anyway. So, and I have a backdrop stand because of click and so I literally just taped 4 pieces of green poster board together and clipped them to my backdrop stand.
After my own heart.
Nobody knows the difference. Chroma green, motherfucker.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Ashley has what I call an unnatural amount of talent, as in she goes like, I'm going to try that. Like, there's a Doctor Who band that, some friends of mine are in. I've never played bass before, but we have a show in 3 months, and they said...
Doctor Who band? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, we were in a Doctor Who band.
Came up. First of all, I'm meeting you for the first time, like, virtually, which is hilarious to me.
Hi.
Hey. So many conversations have been had with your name amongst the words that were said during the conversation.
Yes, I already know you. It's strange.
I know. We're already like BFFs. Just
right.
You're gonna have to make more space in your life.
I called that shit before Larissa met any of y'all. I was like, no, but really though, Larissa needs to meet my abrasive friends. And then it happened for something completely unrelated, and it was like, nope, there it is. Called it.
By the way, catching into the audience, by abrasive, he means Abrasive Media, which is a nonprofit company that a lot of us have facilitated and worked with. He's not just calling us abrasive as a general term for the people.
Oh, true.
We're all abrasive, though, like sandpaper.
Who's not
Abrasive.
Pronoun check.
Are we all abrasive like sandpaper? No, I passed the brown paper bag.
Oh, fair enough. And my bad.
Not the sandpaper. Not the sandpaper bag.
I'm cheersing to you.
Specifically.
Yep.
Yes, so Josh, you are responsible for me being here at all, really. Josh is responsible for all of this. As far as
I mean,
oh my God.
You're also a little bit responsible for me being here, though. So
I just had this amazing image of you being like born out of Josh's head like Athena.
You're responsible for me being here.
I am here.
I have been practicing my inner goddess, so
it's showing. It's showing. I'm liking it.
And I mean that would make sense because like Larissa has like Larissa's my like struggle buddy in the music industry.
Oh, struggle buddies! Yay!
Very true.
Because we're always like the two brown cellists in the entire insert group,
right?
And we laugh the whole time. It's fucking great.
We do. Which is so glad. Makes me so glad that I like made my own orchestra so that we can be goofy in it and no one can be an asshole about it because I'm in charge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have like diplomatic immunity in that orchestra. It's my favorite thing. I get away with anything.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, because you're not an asshole.
Community.
And I play the notes.
And you play the notes. And
wait. If you're not an asshole and you're good at something, it's better? That's
craziness. Insanity.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's honestly my American dream. Just be good at something and don't be an asshole. That's what I request.
Chris.
Boil it down to its basic level. That's just.
And don't tell me I can't swear in the workplace.
I have contract clauses for that specific thing.
Do you? Do you really?
I do. In when I'm teaching like workshops and stuff like that, like I specifically have it like where it's if you like I have a couple lines that are like basically saying if you're not okay with me swearing at your kids or you, depending on the context of the contract, then don't sign up for this because you're not going to get your money back, and I'm going to swear at some point in time. It's going to happen.
Don't mean swear like at someone, not like cuss someone out.
No.
But like,
oh, no, I might do that too.
Well, fair. But like,
kids are assholes.
Kids are assholes. I think that is the lesson.
I use the word fuck like an ellipsis when I can't think of the next word. So it's not, I'm really bad at being, Emily Post would hate me. So I'm actually trying to reword my website right now so that all the descriptions and blurbs and stuff actually have swear words in them, so I can weed out people who will be uncomfortable with me swearing.
Yes.
Because I'm just like, I'm really tired of holding my tongue around your kids. There's a reason I don't have kids.
Oh, I fucking love that so much. Now I need to redo my entire website.
I mean, if you can't, I'm gonna try and put something as to the level of like shit or fuck on the first page.
Header, first fuck you.
That just speaks to me like very intimately.
Maybe not immediately tell them to fuck off, but like, you know, I mean, it can
I don't know, just weed them out.
Let me Google now after HTTP. Go fuck yourself. Yes, you personally.com. I think it's open. I'm
pretty sure that is taken. Let's be serious.
Yeah, maybe so.
Someone has totally taken that URL.
Spaces, like just make your own fucking space, and the only people that get to come in are the people who you invited.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's fucking it. Like we had to do this in the classical music community. It's like, because that community sucks really bad, and it's impossible to exist in there and be a whole person.
All right, why? I mean, let's know. Yeah, let's know.
Oh, okay. You ready, Jeff?
Hit it.
The tea, please.
Oh, I thought we were gonna like get to this like an hour later, but no, let's go.
Yeah,
we're here. We're talking about creating our own spaces to exist in. So, I don't know if you saw these. I think they're relatively new, or maybe I just found them just now. But there are 2 Instagram accounts now called "Orchestra is Racist" and
it's so good.
Racist.
And what was the second one?
Composing is Racist.
Oh shit.
And it's just people sharing stories about their experiences as marginalized people trying to exist within these anciently white structures. And I mean, it took a long time for like the Me Too movement to reach the orchestra community. Like it took longer than it should have. And like now this is all coming out and people are getting called out left and right. And it's really, I'm normally like a really optimistic person, and I tend to be like loving and caring and kind, but like sometimes I just really love watching something just crumble to dust. And it is just
sometimes it's so cathartic.
Yes.
Just for all the little niggly things that, you know, happen in your everyday situation that you can't really say to anybody because no one else is going to understand how that was offensive to you or whatever. And then to watch like the whole institution just crumble to dust.
Josh is always my stand partner. This is why.
All right, say that one more time. You keep cutting in and out. We actually might need to pause for just 1 second.
Oh, no, still?
Yes.
Way closer. Is this better? We have different strengths when it comes to the instrument. And you have more chamber music experience than I do. You have more sight reading experience than I do. I do different stuff.
So
but
yeah. But kind of what I am saying about hey Sierra.
Hi.
Yeah, like watching our industry crumble is fascinating to me because kind of called it like I called that shit in like high school where it was like, this ain't sustainable. Whatever it is you're doing, that ain't it. And
so
like,
I mean, so here's a question about the industry of like you know, you guys do classical sort of more orchestra. You are both cellists and musicians too. Like I functioned more in the rock, country, pop sort of functions of stuff. I don't really know a lot about other than, you know, systematic racism and what's how the classical arts are working in the music industry, if you will.
So like, well, one, I would say, well, our interactions with like different genres is much more broad than that for sure. That said, the classical music world, let's talk about the country music world for 2 seconds and say it's super fucking racist and like patriarchal and just kind of bullshit.
Oh yeah,
now,
no, I was a show.
On, like, put that on steroids.
Yep.
And put that with even less willingness to do better, and that's the classical music world.
Yep.
It's
and
real bad.
One of the reasons for that is because it's much older, and it's just so steeped in centuries of tradition and centuries of celebrating Eurocentric music, and specifically white Eurocentric music, and that all of these like old white men are considered to be the best and geniuses, and on a level that's like beyond like Alan Jackson or Johnny Cash or whoever is like revered in the country music world. Like this is like Mozart, like wrote Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Everyone knows it. So it's like, if that is like that, hundreds and hundreds of years of that, then like trying to break that down, you have to just light a match, like you can't ask an entire community of millions of people to unlearn that behavior. Like you just have to start over, honestly. So, I mean, that's why Roger, my co-founder for the Concerto Orchestra, that's why we were like, let's start our own community orchestra where, if you come in here and you're a dick and you're racist, then you can't come back.
You can do some promo here if you want.
I mean, like, who knows when we're going to be able to play again? Because
look us up at what?
Like our whole mission was to like not have a process. Huh?
Oh, no, we're serious. Plug your shit.
Oh, the Nashville Concerto Orchestra. Sorry.
That's where we're going. Self-promo. Need some self-promo. I mean,
yes.
Roger Wiesmeyer and I founded it like almost 4 years ago now. And it's a volunteer-based community orchestra. And there's no audition process because the audition process is terrible and awful and painful and just traumatizing, like literally traumatizing. And we didn't want to bring any of that negativity into this space where we're making art together. So, I mean, Josh will back me up on this. Roger Wiesmeyer is like a fucking ray of sunshine of a person. Like just
he's on my very short list of good white men.
Yes. Yes, he's excellent. As a human, he is excellent. Wow. And was like, tired of being in spaces where like he plays in the symphony or played, who was going to play.
Right.
Not where that. I don't know. But it's really it's a shitty job when you like dive deep into like what it's like to be a salaried or substitute member of a big symphony orchestra. It's
I'm not right. This usually isn't an interview or anything, but like because I honestly just have questions for both of you. I don't know what that's like. Like, what is it like? So I mean, yet again, like I said, I've been in Crewville and Production Companyville for the Nashville Opera and for TPAC and all those things. So I know I do the classically dirty things of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I do the guy who nails it together and foists it up and argues about where to move that thing. Like that's what I do. But like that is just naturally racist, sexist, and it's perfectly fine. And honestly, that industry doesn't talk about it much at all. Crew industry and how that's a problem. But like, yeah, what's the nature?
I think you're asking for more detail and like your day-to-day life. How does that affect you? Is that what
so this is actually easily answerable, like for both of us, really, in that Like, straight the fuck up. Like, it is very, very common for us to be the only brown person in a room. It is really, really common for the only other brown people in a room to be immigrants from East Asia. Like, and there's a really weird dynamic with all of that and anti-blackness, and that's something that like we can even speak more on, because like Larissa's Filipinx, so like there's layered, even though Larissa's Asian, there is some layered anti-blackness in all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. To some Asians, I am not Asian, so there's that on top of that too. And then to like go back to the roots of it. I mean, just think about how expensive the instruments are that these people play. So when you start, they're very expensive, and they're also very difficult to learn. So when you're a child, your parents have to have the money to buy this instrument for you or rent it. They have to have the money to pay for lessons. Like, you have to start when you're like a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And you have to have the time to spend practicing it. Your parents have to like be in a position where they can help you practice. They can like carve out time for you to, you know, spend an hour a day doing this. This is all like, you know, basic shit that you have to do to be able to be good enough when you're 18 to get into a conservatory, which then on top of that is so much fucking money. Nearly impossible to get any help financially to like go to Juilliard. Like, no. To go to Peabody, like, you're not like, you got to pay for that shit. So like, think about how many kinds of people that weeds out. So by the time they have a degree and then a master's degree, by the time they're out of school, think about what the pool of people looks like who are auditioning for like top tier orchestras. I mean,
so like
we all can imagine what those people look like.
I'm identifying so hard right now.
Yeah.
That's
so like
yeah.
So Ash is talking classic dance. There is what she's registering there for.
That was my ballet was my thing, and
So I will say, with my relationship with the classical music world, I am to date the only person who I know who has a background that is even close to similar to mine.
Right.
And like, because I didn't have the money growing up. I didn't have the resources growing up. I just got really, really, really lucky a lot of times. Like, because I didn't have money for lessons. I didn't have money for an instrument. I didn't have, like, all of those things happened to, for me specifically, do that. Because like, I know other Black cellists. They still came from some kind of money. Like, they were still like in that like middle class realm of upbringing.
Yeah.
I never had that. And it is a constant frustration for me in existing in this world. Because like, I never had, a lot of people assume a lot of things about my background because you kind of almost have to have them to get to where I'm at.
Oh my God, Josh. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm a college dropout. Like, I don't have a degree. Because I couldn't afford to go to college for music. And I realized, maybe I shouldn't go into fucking debt for a music degree. That seems like a bad plan. Best choice I could have made.
Arts education is so fucking expensive.
It's obscenely expensive, and the payout is like, if I had gone to Juilliard or some shit like that, I wouldn't even be able to play cello. Well, okay, we're gonna ignore COVID for 2 seconds. I wouldn't be able to do what I do now because, like, you know, I've busted my ass to have a chamber music career. Yeah, and like,
you would be in so much debt. You would be in so much financial debt.
Yeah.
Right. Now I'm just super poor. I'm not in debt, but I'm very poor.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just like, and this is something that literally everybody in the call can agree with. Like, being the only person of circumstance in a space is not safe or healthy.
Yeah.
And the classical music world is doing literally nothing to change that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's particularly in the United States.
Yeah. Because it's all about your resume. It's not as much about who you are and your musicianship, and even if you focus even tighter in on the musicianship, there are only specific kinds of musicianship that people in the classical establishment find to be worth acknowledging. So like for example, even like a player who is very, very good and like emotional and an incredible player, there are only specific parts of how they perform that orchestras are looking for. So you have to conform in every single way. You have to, especially as a string player too, like the whole like string section of an orchestra, like you have to blend together to sound a certain way. It's like a machine. Right. So they're not looking for people who are interesting. They're not looking for people who bring a new idea to the stage. You know, they're looking for people who conform, and that is into every part of the industry.
Well, and so I mean it is to me at least. Sorry, Ash, where are you going?
No, go ahead.
So I mean, to me, it's. And I know this is a logistical move that I'm making here, but it is the very concept of establishment though that is the problem, which is if it's established on the things that happened before and the things were based in whiteness, then it's hard to move out of the establishment if you don't fit into whiteness and be like, I've got a different idea, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's why I have pushed for years to be a chamber musician and not an orchestral musician. Because honestly, if I never play in another orchestra again, I'm going to be all right. Like, because I have yet to see an orchestra with some exception that actually does any of the work for these things. And like the one thing that comes in mind, there are a couple specifically black orchestras. And I might fuck with that, maybe, if that opportunity arises or whatever. But I have no interest in being in an orchestra because it is an entire system of problems. Whereas with chamber music, I found more people that I can work with and that I can be whoever the fuck it is that I am. And that's why I've been so lucky with Chatterbird.
Yes.
Because the music director actually gives a shit about these things.
What's the difference between orchestral music and chamber music?
Typically size.
Oh, sorry. We both said it at the same time.
You can both size.
Yeah.
So 5 or size?
Size.
Ah. So
who is making the choice of who is playing in the orchestra or the chamber music? Because I know that you said they're looking for certain criteria, a certain resume, somebody who blends in specifically with string instruments. But how do you get to be that person who is making the decision of who plays?
Well, that reaction seems great.
Coming in for the sleeper question.
Every time. Sierra always good at the good question.
Time.
Yes. She ain't said nothing for this whole bitch since she popped in, and then comes in with a good question.
Bam. So how do you get to be in charge? I'm asking.
So how white and successful under your whiteness are you? And it might not even mean you might not even be a musician.
Yes.
A lot of these audition boards are you have people who are board members and shit like that.
Yeah.
Or
you're part of a fucking dynasty.
Because I was picturing an old white man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is absolutely correct. So of the many auditions that I've done in my life, I can think of one audition that I ever had where someone who was in charge of making a decision was not white. One. Mind you, I've done dozens and dozens of auditions. I can think of one person on all of those boards of somewhere between 3 to 10 members that was not white. Also, they were Asian.
I was about to ask. I was about to be like, but they were Asian though, right?
And so, and that kind of goes back to that like that low-key conversation of like anti-blackness with Asian people towards specifically Larissa and I. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Is there a hit, because it's been mentioned a couple of times that the anti-blackness that seems to be stemming from, obviously not only, but from the Asian community. Is there a history behind that, or something that, at least that would be, it's new for me. I haven't thought of or heard of that before.
Colonialism and global white supremacy.
Yeah, I mean, the root of every evil. I mean, specifically in mainland Asia, colorism and racism is really horrifying. Colorism in Asia is like, it's commodified.
What was that commercial you got asked to do?
Oh my God.
I know the answer, but no one else here does.
So happy to tell it again. I
heard that episode. I do know what the story is, but go for it.
When I was 16, and I can't remember how we met this person, but it was some like casting director person for commercials in Asia, and they asked me to audition for a commercial for skin whitening lotion.
Lovely.
And my cousins were like, you should do it. Like you could be famous, and like you have lighter skin. You're perfect for it. And I was like, I was 16 and I didn't really know why at the time, but I was like, this feels bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. It doesn't feel right. And now I'm like, oh, sweet little 16-year-old Larissa, you totally understood that it was colorism and it was lying and it was dangerous. And there's blood in those lotions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And peroxide. Yeah. All great things for your skin, by the way.
Yeah.
It's horrible. That whole the skin whitening industry is booming.
Oh no, I think that's a whole episode of an episode on its own episode. I mean, also Code Switch has done that. Lots of there's lots of podcasts that have done a lot of shit on all sorts of cultures and the concept of skin lightening. Please Google it, people. You can find a lot of stories.
And if you don't believe that this shit still exists, I went to whatever. Dollar General, fuck it. I went to the Dollar General today just to pick up paper towels like a normal fucking citizen who needs paper towels. And there's still skin bleaching products on the shelves. Dollar store. Everyone shops at the dollar store.
Oh, yeah.
United States.
I mean, it still happens, man.
Yeah. It's horrifying. And then even then specifically, like, as far as the Philippines as a country, though, I've been told by East Asian people, East Asian Americans, mixed East Asian and Caucasian people, that I'm not Asian. Because, and like at its basic place, it's because the Philippines is too brown.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. But by the way, Larissa, I'm not sure if this is anything you know about me, but I'm mostly a little bit joker, so that anytime something breaks my brain, I just laugh insistently because people can't be that stupid. I just don't.
True story.
Why would people be this? It's the same thing that happens to me when I go over a roller coaster. I start laughing because I just go like, "Oh, we're in this insanity."
I mean, sometimes you just gotta laugh, right?
Yeah, because it's so sad.
A whole ass coping mechanism.
Yep.
Right? I'm either all the way hysterically laughing or all the way hysterically crying now. There's not as much in the middle as there used to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's the thing is I'm diagnosed as manic depressive, and I think probably most of the people in the world have just now become manic depressive, like just by the situation.
Yep.
I want to go out. I want to fix it, but I got to stay in. I want to go out, but I'm going to stay in. I got to go out and I stay in.
Yep.
I'm sad that I got to stay in, but I'm angry that I want to go out.
That's a whole episode by itself too.
Oh yeah. That's how my days started before all this. So,
mine is just what new hobby can I turn into a job for myself?
Oh man, that.
And not on purpose. Not on purpose. I try to start a new hobby, and I'm like, oh, suddenly my OCD kicks in, and it's like, you know what would be great? 9,000 of these on Etsy.
My God.
No. But my sister gave me some great advice the other day. She was like, you should find something that you're terrible at. That should be your hobby. So I was like, but I'm a hands person, and then I think, and then I get obsessive, and I have to figure out how to do it like perfectly every single time. What am I really shitty at? Video games.
I was literally about to say that's my thing.
Yeah, no, she's been playing Darksiders 3. She's been playing Darksiders 3 for the past 3 days. Darksiders 3. That's all she's been doing for the past 3 days.
Oh, nice.
She's been cleaning and doing other stuff and working and all this stuff. But like, on her downtime, it's Darksiders 3, and I'm like, that's cool. I'm sitting here
because I'm a freaking horseman of the apocalypse, and I kill people with
I'm
a 12
really bad at video games. Terrible.
That's the thing, though. Being bad at video games has been so cathartic for me.
It's been good to like actually work hard at a thing I know I'm complete shit at, and like I've been consistently shitty at for years at a time. So I know that this is going to take a long time for me to get better. You know, this isn't one of those, well, if I had just buckled down for 12 hours.
No. This is exactly back to the fucking point that I brought up earlier ago, which Ash is too good at stuff, which is like she played the video game, and I gave her some points and pointers, and she asked for them, and then she was like, stop giving me pointers, you're pissing me off. And she was like, do you want to try it? And then I tried it, and I beat it. But then the next time she picked up the controller just from watching me play, she was like 6 times better.
You showed me.
It's a problem. It's a problem. It's a fucking problem. Because she's just like she's really the person where she's like, yeah, sure, I don't understand nuclear fission, but I don't know. I'm going to stress out and think about it for about 2 months. And then you're like, why did you build a bomb? You built a bomb.
Now, so I'm like really excited about... whatever. Fuck out. I don't care if people know this. So I'm currently trying to live with Ash and Cave. And I'm really excited because the shit that you do is like, that is Allie to a T, where you're going to feel really shit about being not good at something. And then you're going to learn the thing and then be better at it than me. And I'm just like, well, okay.
No, I don't understand when people want to learn a new skill. I don't understand how that is not your ultimate goal. Like,
right. But here's the difference is like when I spend 20 years doing it and you've done it for like 6 months and we're sort of equal, that doesn't feel great.
Has your obsessive compulsive disorder made you do this skill for 24 hours every single day of that 6 months?
No.
You'd be surprised.
That's where I have the leg up on you. Because my brain won't let me go until it's perfect. And then I can move on. Like I like embroidery. Took 3.5 weeks. I studied every single video I could of all the different types, how to make all the different flowers and blah, blah, blah. And then I made myself a thing and I went, I did it. All right, I'm done. Next thing.
All right, Larissa's nodding, and Larissa's nodding crazy there.
So hard to this. I'm very much so. I like obsessively did origami for like a whole year.
Yes.
And I have so much origami paper and I haven't touched it in like 4 years.
Oh my God.
I was like, how do I make a tessellation?
I don't think my fingers have peeled like that since the 8 months of origami of keeping a microfiber cloth in my lap to go wipe. Okay. Okay. Wipe. Like
my hands are getting sweaty just having you talk about wiping.
Ash, I was using tweezers.
Yes.
I was legit tweezering the tiniest little folds
because your brain won't let you not do it perfect. It's fucking awful.
So the way that my screen is divided currently, I have the top two. The top two are the manic depressive people. The bottom two are the OCD people, and then Sierra's on the side. Sierra is actually like the middle ground of all of these things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll obsess about 15 things and get nothing done.
Man, okay, that's the other half though, is that I'll write a list. I love lists.
Oh, I love a list.
I'll write lists of like 75 things.
Just like Dave and I have the same like facial expressions right now. It's like,
maybe
no, I'm good.
Done.
All right.
Okay. One of them was make bed.
You want to see my bullet journal?
Oh God, no! You're both bullet journal people. Oh no, bullet journal.
Yes.
I've got to go pee. I give me no bullet journal. I gotta walk away.
Yes. No. Wait. Where is my bullet journal? I thought I brought it in here. Did I bring it in here? Oh my God. I got this awesome one that you can actually rearrange the pages.
What?
I want one of those.
God.
Not sponsored by Tool, but I'd love to be sponsored by Tool. Yeah, it's like an office.
You put something in the wrong spot and you wish that it was in a different place and you can't move it and it's just mad forever.
You just take the piece of paper and go flip and it just comes right out and you move it to a thing and you just go snap and it snaps right back in. That's amazing. And it comes with its own stapler. It's a specific type of stapler, or not stapler, sorry, hole punch. So you can take anything, your own paper, photos, notes from a different notebook, whatever, tear it out, use the hole punch and go fit in your notebook.
Oh my God. I fucking love this. I love stationary things.
You should see my notebook. It's like the analog version of an insane person's disorganized desktop on their computer. Like, that's what it looks like, and it's
Oh, because you got to get it out.
I know.
If I don't get it out, it sits in there and it turns into sludge and then everything else drowns in it.
It floats.
So do you feel that way, Larissa, about racism in the music industry?
I do.
I feel like it feels the same as bullet journaling.
How do we get...
Apparently Josh is driving the topic this evening.
I find bounce lettering to really sum up how I feel about racism in today's music industry.
See, I bullet journal about racism every day.
Oh.
Every time it's just met white dude. Met white dude. And interestingly enough, I have like 3, and then I go met offensive white dude. Then met white dude, met white dude, met white dude, met offensive white dude. Interestingly enough, I check those off almost every day. I have a list of 40 that I just write down. I see about 80 people a day, so yeah.
So like the kind of
did the side eye.
What was that?
It would double if you added side eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really have one of those. I just have this one.
No, not from you. To you.
Oh, no. You can't. I can't count sided. That's That's too much. I don't have time for counting side eye, man. Like that's all the time.
We got
You think Karens like a dude that looks like this? They do not.
You need one of those clicker things where they just to count people coming through the door.
Yes.
Oh God, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But so thinking about something that's been fucking me up recently with Nashville things is us being in quarantines, not a lot's going on in regards to the music industry, and a lot of the things that are maybe don't do that, but that's a separate point to what I'm trying to make though. Is I have noticed you got all these people doing all these digital performances together, which is great.
Yeah.
I do think people like doing more of that work is great. It's all by like old classical white dudes. And I'm like, at the beginning of quarantine was like, I don't know, maybe this is the time for you to play different music.
Yeah.
Learn hire different composers. I don't know.
Well, and I mean, that's the thing is also for any of this, the price of the show, for any level of entertainment where we're doing this via Zoom, via podcast, via digital form, the price is going way fucking down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should still pay people for doing this, art, huge stuff if you can pay people. But the price of getting these people's shows out is zero, and they keep still doing it with white folk all the time.
I'm like you can't even give the argument of like, oh well, our old rich white donors won't pay for it.
Yeah,
like they're not paying for it. No one's paying for it. So what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That argument gets just yeeted right out of the door.
Don't you have like, I don't know, second, third chair players who have made their have pieces that they've composed that you'd like to showcase, or there's all these resources that you could be using if you really wanted to exploit your brown people. Couldn't you just ask, do you guys have pieces? And here, we already pay you a salary. I'm waiting. I guess I expected white people to screw the brown people more to get money out of this, but I'm still surprised I'm seeing so much white art when it's aren't your brown people already being paid less? Aren't they already interns? Aren't they already
And also, aren't all of you guys trying to play like it's fine by putting Black Lives Matter on the street? You know what I'm saying? Right. Because and everybody playing the game, so why ain't y'all actually dealing all the cards?
Save you money in this time.
Any of the cards
that we're all in together. Come on, it would save you money. So I'm surprised I'm not seeing that being taken advantage of, obviously in a shitty way. But you couldn't even go for the free art. You still had to go for the paid old man white art.
Now, what's fucking ironic as shit about that is I'm actually sitting on, I got a bunch of ideas for things that I want to do right now, but I'm sitting on it because I'm broke as fuck because I'm a freelance musician and
that's how life is.
But I'm with Larissa specifically, I'm like, hey, Larissa, there's things that I want to do, but we're not going to do them until I can pay you to do them. Actually pay you the work that for the work that you're doing. So I'm waiting on it because I gotta be able to pay for it.
I want to pay people for their work because I want to be paid for my work.
Yep.
Agreed.
It is so frustrating to be in a place where I have so much time.
Yes.
No resources.
Yep.
And I have stuff I want to make, but I can't. How it's we're just our hands are tied.
Yeah.
Right now. So all I can do is make stuff by myself. Alone.
The thing that's
our business is especially for you, Josh, chamber music is all about performing in a group. That's
is.
I can't. My job is not going to exist for another year to several years if society doesn't collapse, which it probably will. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with that mentality.
Get ready for Book of Eli, guys. That's what's happening.
I'm already half blind. I'm good.
No. I'm going for that all winter, like the road apocalypse. Don't give me that heat desert apocalypse.
Oh, no. I'm fine with snow.
Yeah, let me freeze to death. I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
I'm not dying of dehydration and heat blisters and...
Wow, I actually think, Sierra, where are you at with temperature things? Because I'm also in the camp of not heat
cold
things, but cold things.
Cold things. Although I will probably die very soon in like beginning of the apocalypse. I don't think I'll make it very far. So
I can't run.
Yeah.
I can't help in a crisis because I'm fainting goat. I can't.
I mean, and we've talked about this before, but like apocalypse, scary movie scenario, I'm dead first.
Oh yeah, and like on purpose.
Yeah, I've accepted that.
I volunteer.
Yeah, see, no. That's the problem. Is that's not fair because all of us are mixed. So we'll make it through halfway through the movie at least. Like
this is true.
The darker people than us will go first, but we can. Or we could become a love interest. You don't know.
No.
You could be a love interest to the white person. That's a possibility.
At least the women present would would make it 3/4 of the way because you have to be the distraction to the white girl who's obviously the one that in the end you have to be the the Mae West suddenly come up and see me.
So I think I have enough twisty mustache though that I could be at least a henchman to the bad guy. I could be a henchman to the bad guy though, right? You know, like
that's straight up Snively Whiplash.
Yeah, right. But like, I got this dude who's a white dude who doesn't like you. You know, look for it.
I'd probably end up being like an extra, like not even a character. I'm an extra. I might survive. In the back.
It's true.
In the crowd running.
Nobody even cares enough about the plot to kill you off. It's just you're over there.
Oh, you're there.
You're randomly and then are booing randomly.
I'm one of the token brown people.
I was gonna say we're somewhere in like a phone booth, just long enough to make a sassy remark about something.
Yeah, if you were in the Matrix, you'd be having a sex dance scene in the cave. Yep. That's where you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
The really see-through top.
Yeah. Oh, I've forgotten about the sexy dancing in the cave.
In Matrix Revolutions, that piece of shit movie.
Yeah,
the orgy rave where you're like, really, do you think we needed to see anybody have this naked? Or, like, I didn't need to see Trinity and Neo have sex to care. Like, I got the gist real fast when she brought him back to life with her kiss. I was clear in the last movie what happened.
This is someone who came from actually really liking Keanu Reeves's, like, shit in the 90s because he was late 90s, early 2000s. Let's be serious. Mm-hmm. Because then he started choosing his stuff and people started, not directing him and just letting him be deadpan. Yeah. That's all he does. Yes. He's one note and perfectly symmetrical. I'm sorry, he's fascinating.
It's fucking fine.
I fold the man's face in two and it is perfectly symmetrical. It makes no sense. As a photographer, it literally breaks my brain.
So I have 2 points. I'm going to start on the Keanu Reeves point because that's...
the argument was
Keanu Reeves, have y'all watched the John Wick movies?
Yes.
The first 2.
Good. The third one is also still good. It's still good.
Yeah,
it's still amazing.
Because he found his strength, which is not talking and beating people's asses. He's really good at it.
Mm-hmm. He looks really good doing it.
Yes.
He does look good doing it.
Better than
straight lines.
Anyone doing it.
Yeah.
Fight choreography with him is
Because his fucking body is made for it. You know when I knew was the first fucking Matrix after he defeats the first fucking Smith, he kicks him in the chest and then does a perfect rond de jambe to the side, Alice calm bitches, and holds that motherfucker at 90 degrees for seconds before he sets it down.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How do you really feel, Ashley?
Amazeballs. But taking that back to like the sex orgy. I saw that Matrix in IMAX, and no one needs to see Keanu Reeves' pasty white ass that big ever in their life.
No.
I don't know, guys. I might be that one person that needs to see his pasty white ass.
With it.
Terrible. I was swimming in Morpheus's pores.
Yep.
I was diving into Monica Bellucci's boobs.
Yep.
It was way too much of everybody.
Yep. You don't want 4 stories of people's faces. You just don't.
I just don't.
No, it's even like the concept of like when HD came out, and they were like, let's give you HD porn, and you were like, no, why would you want to see people that close? You don't want to see anyone in HD.
Actually more detailed than actual sex. I don't think I need that.
In person, I don't look at someone that close.
Yes.
Why would I want 4K of someone's ass? I don't
need that kind of detail.
No.
I don't need it.
I am not planning on identifying your body later. No. What moles you got? I don't need to know the shape of your birthmarks. None of that shit.
No.
No.
I shouldn't be able to like point them out and write them at about 10 story level. That's all I'm saying. I shouldn't be able to be like, this dot on this person is 10 stories and I can draw it.
Looks a bit
a little crevice here.
No.
No.
No one. Unnecessary.
Yeah. The Mixer brought to you by Don't Look That Close at People.
Woohoo! Say no to 4K.
No, okay, I'm not gonna lie. 4K other things is really great.
Well, yes, like digital realms are great.
No.
Oh yeah, like 4K video games are.
Okay. Video games I will give you. Movies, it just pisses me off because then I literally see all of the masking for all of the visual effects. Yeah. And
I think that depends on I think that more depends on the monitor than anything, because I was pretty anti 4K when it first, like, that technology first came out. Mm-hmm. Monitors are so much better now. You ain't getting that, like, because there was that weird, like, when 4K monitors came out several years ago at this point, like, when they came out, I couldn't watch anything on them because everything that was not digital looked like a soap opera.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not true anymore.
That was my first problem, honestly, with HD in the first place. For anybody,
it's
HD. There was television that was before HD. I don't know if you guys remember this, listeners, but there was non-high definition television. There was also an HD they called different than Blu-ray, but that one lost out. Anyways, it all looked horrible for a long time because it looked like soap opera. The lighting was so bad. The sketch, like oh my god,
it looked horrible until about 2017, and then their technology got its shit together.
Yeah,
that's how technology works.
Do they make soap operas look that bad on purpose?
No.
No, they just don't. So they just kept with a standard, basically, which is people got comfortable with the standard, so they slowly adjusted it to look better over the years. But they have to do it slow because the people who love soap operas are usually people who find it in their youth or younger years and stay too long.
You don't fuck with their stories.
Because you don't fuck with their stories.
True.
Definitely any black woman would say you don't fuck with their stories.
You not fuck with an old black lady's stories.
Oh, no.
From 2 to 4:30. That bitch is on the couch, watching her Bold and the Beautiful, her All My Children.
All My Children.
One Life to Live, her God Light, whatever.
Erica Kane. Sorry, my mom watched, a lot of my family watched soap operas. I know All My Children.
Oh my God.
Back to lighting. I think
my mom watched soap operas. That was a thing.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Well,
what was hers?
We stopped paying for cable, and then we just didn't have TV for most of my childhood.
Hey, me too. Yeah.
Until my dad
can we pause?
Huh? What?
Oh no, I just wanted to pause to talk about how amazing your mom is, though.
Oh.
Because
Larissa's?
Yes, because in this podcast, I don't think I can say that about most people. Your mom is amazing. I love your mom so much.
And she loves Josh so much.
That's adorable.
She always asks about Josh. She always makes sure to call Josh Sha, which is it's a Philippine word that's like a non-binary pronoun.
That's awesome.
She was so excited to use it. It was like really exciting for her.
Oh, I love that.
It's really sweet.
Also,
yeah,
totally love that you have language in your culture that's built in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In like Philippine indigenous culture.
Pre-colonialism, that's a thing.
Yeah, that it was legit a thing. There was a spectrum. I mean, my mom still will refer to man as by accident because those pronouns don't really exist in her language. So like it's not a thing.
Holy crap, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can't hear you, Ashley.
No, you're muted, honey.
Sorry, can you repeat that one more time? When I just didn't get to hear you. I think something drove by and it kind of cut out what you were saying.
So there's a word "sha" in the Philippines that just it's a non-binary gender pronoun that just means person basically or being.
Awesome.
But like pre-colonial times, so the Philippines was a Spanish colony for almost 500 years or 300 some years, almost 400 years, and then a Japanese colony and then American colony, and so basically before all of that bullshit. In indigenous Philippine culture, gender was not the binary that we have now. And it was just, people.
Yeah. I mean, can I start calling does non-binary term work for Jehovah? Because I can call you, because it just means I am. So I'm just saying it should work for the same proverb. Jehovah, I think it works. I am. Because that's really what we should call most people. Yeah, you am, me am too. You am, we all am.
We am. Yeah,
we am. Yes.
But that stuff came with the Spanish colonial period. So in the Philippines is also the only Asian country that is a former Spanish colony. All of the other former Spanish colonies are Latin America.
Yeah.
So like we're kind of like this weird like spot that like doesn't fit with anything because then
that has absorbed so much that you get so much to choose from now, which is kind of awesome.
There are those awesome aspects of it, definitely, but there's also still that like built-in adaptation, that built-in. Like deep in our DNA, because it's just for like so many years. Like the Philippines was a Spanish colony for longer than any of the colonies in Latin America because they were alone. Like,
right.
This really pretty group of islands on a perfect trade route for colonization.
Yeah, for real.
So it's like the Good Samaritan story. I mean, I'm not sure how well people know the Good Samaritan story, but when the person is on the side of the road, they walk by and then they beat them up some, and then they take their shit, and then they just kind of empirically say "fuck you" to them forever, which is, I think, the Good Samaritan story. Am I wrong about that?
Basically, that's basically it.
Yeah, and there's different versions of people say "fuck you." I think that's the story.
Yeah.
That's how the Good Samaritan works. When you interact with different people, say "fuck you" to them and take them over. Good Samaritan.
Oh wait,
that sounds like Spain.
Did you mean to like? When you say Samaritan, did you mean missionary?
No. Oh yeah. Wow.
I mean, like Spain also brought shit to the Philippines, like last names.
For real.
Yeah.
I found out that my Lolo's family, my grandfather's family, is from this tiny island called Romblon in the like central Philippines. And I always assumed that my last name, Maestro, was like, you know, associated with some sort of violence in my family's history, you know, or intermarriage or something like that with Spanish colonials. But what I found out when I visited was that the Spaniards didn't understand the naming system that the indigenous Filipinos had. So they just broke them up into groups and said, your last name is Maestro, all of you. Your last name is Famalara, all of you. Your last name is Larissa, all of you. Because now we understand, because we don't understand this. So we have to name you something so that we understand you and now have control over you. And I was like, fuck.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
So what was the naming system like before that?
There were no last names. It was just individual names.
Okay.
So there wasn't, they like didn't understand why there wasn't a family name. Like, why don't you inherit something in your naming from your parents, and to like keep people in family groups? Because it was more of a community-based system as opposed to like blood family. And
it's like you get to be an individual or something.
Converted to a class-based system.
Yeah, versus where your power
over the years. It's crazy.
Versus where your power comes by the person who had sex before you, and
exactly.
like
or not, you condoned it, which is awesome too.
Yeah,
I love that part.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
I also
noticed that in Tagalog, because the Philippines is also the only former Spanish colony that didn't adopt Spanish as their native language. They just like took some words, but all of the names for like natural things like beach or like tree, all of those are indigenous rooted words. And all of the names for things that Spain brought are Spanish words. Words like street, like Tagalog is calle, which is Spanish. You know, words for like pants and shoes and things like that, they're all Spanish words. But all of the words for like sky and like earth are all indigenous words. And once I like got to that point with it, and it was when I was like learning Spanish in school, because I took Spanish in high school, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense.
In the language.
I worked for 4 years at a healthcare company at the, what do you call it?
Call center?
Thank you, call center. At the call center. And we were calling senior citizens, getting them home health visits from nurses and whatever. And because the regions and areas that I would call the most often to schedule these visits were like up and down the West Coast, I would frequently run into Tagalog speakers and have to get a translator. And it would always trip me up, because like I would recognize every like fifth word, but be confused. And I was like, I don't understand this. I don't get it. I feel like I could talk to you is it just that you're talking fast, or is it just that it's not the same word that I think should come next? But that makes so much sense. And I'd never had that explained to me before, but that's insane.
It is. It's like, in a way, it's kind of beautiful. On to like these words from their culture and had these other ones imposed on them. But it's also like, I mean, I'm not a linguist. I'm just like fascinated with this, and also like with it's my too. So I'm like really interested in it. But yeah,
likewise, I am similarly scanning my own genealogy at the moment. Like
that is the right answer. Whew.
Yeah,
that's the right answer.
It is so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
By the way, for any of the audience, checking back in with you. How you doing, audience? Being mixed is hard and weird, especially when you're not just going down if you have white genealogy in that mixed. Usually the white line's not that hard. Everything else gets a little
And my white line is excessively easy because it's Mormon. So
Yeah.
they literally wrote all their shit down. I can just look it up.
You're good at keeping records.
Right? That's all they did. They were sitting in covered wagons for like 2/3 of their lives going across the United States. That's all they did was write down their names.
My sister lived in Salt Lake City for 10 years, so I'm familiar.
You also got to write down names between the people who are getting tarred and feathered to know who you have left.
But yeah, I mean, I can't tell you as a kid how many freaking genealogy centers in the library I had to sit quietly in and just color for a whole Saturday while the light was good.
Oh, dang.
Ugh. But all that to say that I love my mom for what she did because I think she was being like super sneaky and was also being like, hey, I have all this access to all these different public records that I normally would have to go and get like, you know, licenses for the reference section and stuff to get. So I'm going to look up my black ass and all my history over here and get all these fucking photos and shit, which was great. But it's still confusing as hell. And like I hit a brick wall because I had so many names that were not just similar, but exactly the fucking same name. I'm like, I'm sorry, did they live from this time to this time? Or are they this age? How old is this person? Is this were they married 7 times? Because that's what it looks like. And I had to go to my mom and be like, help. And she goes, well, I don't have much help for you. I have some photos and I have some very odd stories from some very old family members. And I was like, anything you got.
Anything, literally anything.
Yeah. So
No. Somebody cut up. You can only hear me now. Hi, audience.
1 million pages, 1 million years of solitude, aka coronavirus.
for real.
No.
Hey, give us 1 second. Can we just pause back and give us a re-roll second? Just
Yeah.
go.
Where you were?
I was asking, have you ever read 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez?
No.
It is
No.
a beautiful book. It was my favorite book for a really long time, but it's about like an intergenerational family story. And the beginning of the book has a family tree on it, and and everyone's got like the same name. Like everyone's named, like somebody's named Aureliano in like all these different parts of every like generation of this family. And at one point, there's a guy who like sleeps with a bunch of women, and all of the women that he has children with all name their kids Aureliano. So it was reminding me of that.
Yes.
So,
thing. Or somebody may have had a baby and then like they couldn't take care of their baby, so they gave it to the sister who then raised it, and so that they named it after the sister who had the baby, and you're like, what the fuck? I don't understand. They all have the same name.
So for sheer all of the just that book is in the magical realism genre of things.
Okay.
I highly recommend reading it in Spanish if you can. It makes 10 million more % in Spanish.
Because I practice.
Hey, Josh.
I remember
for the listeners. Hi, check it back in, listeners. Would you explain what magical realism is?
Ooh.
Because I know what it is, but it's it's a phrase that people don't know.
That's fair.
It's like a specific genre of literature that kind of like it's specific to the Spanish language almost. Like
it's also very specific to non-colonialism happening.
Yes.
Colonialism did not happen in those places in the world, so it works, at least to me, as I've read it, like for between multicultures without the concept of colonization. So it can work in Black world, it can work in African world, and Spanish, and Asian worlds, and all those things with the lack of colonialism.
They tend to be written without the colonialist lens. And they also like it's a fascinating genre in that it's like if you were to take fantasy and realism and just like have a baby with it, we're like 80% of the storytelling is just like, oh, this is shit that's just really happening in the real world, and then 20% we're going like magic now. Okay.
No,
like it's a very small. Yeah, like you just turned into a fawn. Okay. Yeah.
The roof just blew up and somebody just flew into the sky.
Yeah.
Or I got a really severe case of anxiety, so I just bamfed myself out of a coffee shop.
That's my dream. That's my personal dream. What are you talking about? If I want to teleport her home for all video games, for all stories, for all things, I don't need a port to another crazy world. I need a port between where I am and home. That's all I need.
The one thing I want to bring over from video games, give me fucking quick travel portals, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I want to be able to go to the corner of freaking, Elliston Place and 21st and just be like, home.
That's also specifically, I think you're specifically talking there when you're drunk and you hope to walk through a portal when you're drunk and not have to make it all the way home.
I was making maybe some of that plan was based on previous me.
Yeah. I think other than Larissa, everybody here has been drunk on that corner. So.
Oh, I've totally been drunk on that corner.
I've been drunk on that corner.
Oh, fair enough. You weren't there with us, and I'm sad for you because it was definitely a better experience drunk there with us.
Yeah, like why the fuck isn't Larissa at Corner Bar with us?
Yes.
I know.
Yes. Because we're closed. Because the world's
karaoke. Right. Yeah, but also
they're closed.
So
they're closed because they care about people.
That's true.
Oh, wow.
Corner Bar off of Elliston
like?
Place. Here's an advertisement for them. They're fucking awesome, and if they reopen, go there. Corner Bar, Elliston Place. It's not Corner Pub. Corner Pub shit people.
Yes. Corner Bar
is excellent.
Also,
yeah,
did karaoke? Did somebody say karaoke?
Karaoke.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's a lifestyle.
We love Sekvon. We love Isaac. We love
do it at that bar all the time.
Danielle.
Karaoke is the only competitive sport that I participate in.
I agree.
Oh, nice.
That's the only one that matters because you need to show up to sing your heart out. I don't care if you're good at singing it.
Nope.
But you need to be dedicated.
Yep. Yeah, got to give performance.
I frequently choose Celine Dion songs that are way out of my range.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Which ones are your Larissa of the podcast who will promote a bunch here later and a bunch here soon? What is your favorite karaoke Celine Dion choices?
I mean, it's all coming back.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You get all the quiver and all like the vocal fry and all the.
And
I just need to plug another Larissa thing. Larissa does have a 90s cover band.
Yes, of whom?
And the name of that is?
Of whom?
My so-called band.
Oh my God, adorable.
We've been a band for a very long time, and we're very sad because we can't play. It's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually, wow, yeah. I've meant to check that band.
Wait, if you want to be really throwback during the quarantine, you should totally do like a postal service type deal.
like 90s band postal service and like
mail it physically. Yeah, physically mail things to each other. Fuck digital. Physically mail them on a CD.
Yeah,
this is the thing I need.
Yeah,
I need like interaction.
Okay.
I need something to look forward to.
Tavius and I did the digital postal service thing for an album for a year and a half.
For the Doctor Who band, which we never really got into a conversation about.
Yeah, I need to hear more about this Doctor Who.
So the Doctor Who band is named Legs Nose Robinson. It's a Matt Smith during time joke with Amy Pond and Rory and the Legs the Nose Robinson. Yeah. So Ash was a character. So it's a Doctor Who inspired band, basically. It's a Doctor Who inspired band, as in we watch episodes and write songs about it.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
So
you have to say it was started by Jesse Moon.
it was.
Who then recruited our lovely, wonderful friends Ryan and Chelsea as well, and then Tave got recruited to first. You got recruited first to manage for them because
I recruited to write for them and then manage, and then I became a drummer.
And then you found out you drummed.
They're the only people who put me out of my exile. Like, I quit drumming because I hated the music industry so much, so I stopped drumming for like 15 years. They got me back with just Doctor Who band. Like, I was like, Doctor Who band? Oh my God, this is so stupid, right? Like, this is all the things.
The first people, the three of them had put together just in the house, like, was just, we loved it so much. We're like, I remember running up to them because we had a 50th, we had a party for the 50th anniversary at our friends Chris and Christina's house. So it was like projector was up and there's like, I don't know, like 60 people there. And they showed the song for the first time. And my first reaction was, oh my God, can I be a groupie? Like,
honestly, my first reaction was, I wish I was in that band.
I know. I was
then
really jealous.
It took 6 months, and then they were like, do you want to be in it? And I was like, yeah, no, so it's stupid. Lake Soldier Robinson, I'll probably cut this out of the episode. But no, check it out. It's stupid fun. But, like, we're Nerd Force people. Like,
but same deal.
You have stuff up on SoundCloud or something?
Oh no! I mean, you Google Play, Spotify, Lake Soldier Robinson. You can Google it. Like
the first single went bizarrely viral, and then we got a lot of requests to do a bunch of shit. So we made our own. So we recorded everything ourselves, filmed all of our own music videos, edited all of our own shit, all that kind of blah blah blah. So got really deep into it, but we had 5 members, and 2 of our 5 moved to California, and then 1 of our 5 moved to Georgia, and so we had 3 different states, and it was during a height kind of for us at the time where, like, we were getting booked a lot, and we're like, well, fuck. Well, we got to at least do an album, and it took us a year and a half of literally sending digital pieces back and forth to each other and recording stuff in different states to get the thing together, and then be like, oh, we're done. Okay, we're never doing this again. Oh my God.
Yep.
This is awful.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's really also nothing better than like sitting and being like, oh, can you fix that one bit, but via email? You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh God.
It's just.
Like, I can't do text. I'm going to send you an audio clip of me describing verbally what I mean by like, blip, 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 like I need that.
Yep. Remote recording problems. This is like my job right now is remote recording. Well, job. It's, I got $108 in unemployment last week. So,
Yeah.
God.
Hey, Larissa, you're still making more than me.
No,
Yeah.
I just.
So I mean, are both y'all unemployment running right now? How's the numbers for that working?
Never qualified for I never qualified for it, which is great.
Why?
Yeah.
Was it because
It's a whole ass thing.
Was it 1099 or?
No, the issue is basically me trying to get a hold of the fucking IRS.
Oh, motherfucker. I'm sorry.
Fuck.
No, I also never got a stimulus check, so.
Fuck that shit.
Kidding me?
So.
Holy shit.
I'm doing great right now is what I'm saying.
Ooh.
Doing great.
If you
Larissa, how did that turn on your page?
I spent like 2 months trying to file for unemployment. Just trying to file.
Yeah.
Just getting on there and trying, and then filling stuff out and then getting kicked off and then signing back in and it's all gone and do it again. And just like the whole thing, it is just all built built for people to have the worst possible time trying to get any sort of help.
So that they'll give up.
Hard as fucking possible to get help. And then I was given I had to call my state rep's office and have them inquire about my claim so that somebody would look at it.
I'm glad you did. Most people don't.
I was like, hi, this is your fucking job.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a constituent and this is your job. Take care of it.
You are going to get paid a pension when
I'm not only a constituent, I'm an investor.
Yeah.
I want my money that I pay for now. I would like it now because I need it.
Yeah.
I got a few different like grants, funding help from a few organizations, Music Cares. Josh and I both got the Music Cares like $1,000 toward your housing that they did right away. They were like, apply right now. They just like send people checks. They were just sending people checks.
Yeah.
Therapist, she applied. They gave her $1,000. It was
awesome.
Music Cares is fucking great. If you have money, donate some money to Music Cares because they're amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I was able to get that. So that paid for a month of my mortgage. And then like a couple of other random, just like scouring the internet for like COVID-19 musician help, getting random stuff that way. And then, just stopped getting the 600 a week last week. So that is exciting.
Sure.
Very exciting. They gave all freelancers the base 120 a week from the state. Because they didn't know how to handle the 1099s.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
With me, I have a bunch of 1099s, but I also get W-2s sometimes.
Yeah.
We're basing my income only off my W-2. And that's not my income.
No.
Right.
So it was like one dumb TV show thing. It was just like, that's not a job. That was a gig.
Yeah.
So, and then there's the other problem, which is that you're supposed to report if you accept any jobs.
Yeah.
Make more than they're giving you a week.
Which is nothing.
Which they don't understand. Also, for jobs like this, it's feast or famine.
Yes.
So
it's like sometimes like
money in, like spring or whatever for all your bookings that you're going to do for summer and the first, part of the fall season, and then you're not going to get paid until the next fucking spring or whatever, until grants come in for those organizations.
Yeah.
So, no, you don't.
Or when that show season was, or the time. I mean,
that's I'm getting paid $4,000 this month for this job and like $2,000 for this other job, but I'm not getting paid again for another like 6 months. You guys.
Exactly. That taking a gig is different than taking a job. Taking a job is you're getting a regular paycheck.
Yes.
It means you're getting some money and then you have potentially nothing else.
Exactly.
It's so fucked up. It's fucked.
No, like my one paid gig this entire quarantine, it paid almost it paid like $750, which is like great for one thing.
For a gig.
However, that's it. Like my other income is I got that Music Cares grant and I got one other grant.
Yeah.
And that's my whole income since quarantine started.
Oh yeah.
If I just pick
I did get a $30 check today from royalties, so that was cool.
Oh my God.
You know what? Right. But I mean, you know what? You're brown, so you probably spent that all on drugs.
Nope, specifically crack.
Crack. You spent those $30 on crack.
Be specific.
$30 crack. What is the budget for crack? I'm not really sure. So
I have no idea.
No idea.
I've actually never known that. Oddly enough, I've never known that. I know the price for a lot of other drugs, but definitely not crack, heroin, or meth, because that's stupid drugs. I'm not cool enough for that.
Yep.
I know the prices of some of those things.
Yeah, we'll never be cool.
So that's like making me crazy right now. Thinking about our industry, Josh, is that like the whole music industry is like supported on the backs of self-employed people, like the whole industry, and all of us are fucked. So,
Yep.
so like, and we're the workers. Right?
I mean, how the fuck? Like, how else are you gonna get like fucking music made? Like,
you can't. You fucking can't.
It's like we're literally the whole thing.
We're the people that actually make the product. Like we're.
Well, I mean, you could have some people going in during a fucking quarantine and making doing gigs that don't pay enough. You have that happen. That's not a thing that's happening right now.
There's no way that's happening right now.
It's happening right now.
It's happening right now.
I feel like our people are being sarcastic at this point. I don't. Is that just my vibe?
There are people playing big string sessions in studios right now. It's irresponsible, and it's horrifying.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that seriously something people are still playing with?
Both Larissa and I have been asked to do probably several of these sessions that I've seen. And my answer is absolutely the fuck not.
I say no, record from home. Every time.
Yeah, it's
no,
if I cannot record this at my house, no.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. They won't pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, sorry, I'm not going. Like I said, this has been a reoccurring theme of the mixer, a la quarantine. I don't want to kill other people, and also I don't want to die.
Yeah.
So.
And as I say every time, you are being selfish pricks. Economy, children, death. We want kill brown people.
Specifically, the child death thing.
Yeah. Also, if you have vitamin D problems, also die. So.
Oh God! I'm actually really curious. Sierra, you recently, if you don't want to talk about it, we don't need to talk about it. But you recently dealt with that whole fucking situation with Thaddeus. Thaddeus is Sierra's kid.
I know.
Oh yeah. Actually, while Steve's here, do you want to tell us about that story?
I know you're going to tell the story, and I'm so sad because I have to pee so bad, but I want to hear from your own mouth and not just in text form. But I'm just going to have to listen to this episode later. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I'll forgive you this one time. Never let it happen again. Not allowed to urinate.
You can pee in the holodeck.
I'm so sorry.
It just dissolves or something, right?
They have ensigns to clean that up.
I mean, I don't know what they do with the semen all over that place either. So, I mean, really.
Anyways, serious Sierra
the
story.
The people who are on the sea. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Sorry, Sierra. Tell us the story.
I'm sorry. I couldn't. Bad mental picture of semen everywhere. God, that's awful. I'm going to be thinking about that for a long time.
Sorry.
I don't want to be thinking about that for a long time.
The mixer. Semen. All right. So yeah, Sierra.
So our middle child, Thaddeus, he is 4, and we took him to an ENT a couple weeks ago to have his tonsils and adenoids checked because he has been snoring and grinding his teeth and a little alligator in the bed and is just having some issues. And I kind of, he does this thing because his older brother's losing his teeth, oh yeah, Mama got a loose tooth. And so to entertain him, I was like, well, let me see your loose teeth. And he opens his mouth and his tonsils are touching his uvula, which is just way too big. And so I'm like, oh, we need to get that checked out. Well, we go to the ENT downtown in Vanderbilt. They were fantastic. The doctor there said, yeah, he's got huge tonsils and huge adenoids, and they need to go. And so we got a call to schedule surgery, and it happened to be at the surgery center out in BFE Spring Hill. And I, of course, I'm a mom, so I'm worried and I'm asking lots of questions, what to expect. Can I be there until he goes to sleep? Can I be there when he wakes up? Obviously, you're not going to let me watch through a glass window Obviously can't do that. I realize that. But can I be there until he goes to sleep? And can I be there when he wakes up? Because he's 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told from the very beginning, you cannot be there until he goes to sleep because they're going to roll him away. They were not going to stick him with any needles until after he was asleep. It's giggly gas to knock him out, and then they put the IV in. Because, again, he's 4.
Yeah.
I just want to, listeners, he's 4. Later on in the story, he's fucking 4.
4. It's
So,
there. Everybody visually watching. It's 4.
So the day of the surgery, we go, butt crack of dawn. We get there. There's 2 other people. We are the 3rd person there at the surgery center. People are still drinking their coffee because it's the butt crack of fucking dawn. And we get checked in, and we're sitting, we're waiting, and we see 16,000 people. One of them is the surgeon. One of them is the anesthesiologist. The rest of them are nurses that just come and talk to us about random things and ask medical history and have you been experiencing any COVID symptoms and all the usual stuff. But granted, we've seen lots of people. He doesn't have, typically when you go somewhere and you are assigned a nurse, that is the person you see from the beginning to the end.
Yep.
That did not happen. He also, when you go to the hospital, especially with someone who's a minor, usually they get a hospital bracelet with their information on it.
Yep.
And you get one saying, this is my person.
Yeah.
This person's not leaving without me.
Yeah.
I did not get one of those. And I thought, okay, maybe this is just because it's ENT. There's only 2 other people here. Surely people are going to come in after us, but it's whatever. It's fine. Yep. They're professionals. They got this. And so we're waiting. They wheel him away on his little bed in his little teddy bear gown. And to start the surgery. And they take me to this little waiting room that's got 3 chairs in it. It's not like the front waiting room. It doesn't have a door, tiny little, could be a closet. And I'm sitting playing solitaire on my phone because the reception sucks and there's no internet. And about 40 minutes later, the surgeon comes back and says, hey, the surgery's over. Everything went great. He's still asleep. We're just stopping the medication so that he can start to wake up. Before he wakes up, as we're stopping the medication, we will come get you once we roll him to the recovery room. They're taking, they were taking the tube out and the IV and all that fun stuff. And I said, okay, great. Good to know that it had gone well. I'm expecting you to, did not say this, but this is what's going on in my head. I'm expecting you to come get me before my child is awake. Because that's what I've been told every time I've asked.
Right.
And he's 4. Waking up after surgery. Strange place. So I'm sitting in the room, maybe 5 minutes after the surgeon leaves, and I hear a kid crying. Granted, there's no door on this room. I hear a kid crying down the hallway. And I go, okay, other kids are here. They're probably scared of having surgery. Weird place. Whatever. We've heard one other kid crying from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big thing. Maybe 45 seconds later, I go, oh, that sounds like my kid. And I poke my head in the hallway. And I go, that's definitely my fucking kid. And I grab my shit and am walking down the hallway to the sound of my screaming child who is screaming for me. And I meet one of the nurses. And she goes, oh, there you are. I got the wrong mom. He's awake.
What?
Yes. And I almost hit a bitch.
Would you like to describe why they had this concept?
Oh, yeah. So my son is very Anglo-Saxon looking. He's blonde and blue-eyed and very, very white appearing. I honestly am not. Out of all of
Larissa's actually falling out of her chair. You just broke Larissa.
Yep. Grab the wrong one.
Hey, you are not the first. Me
Probably will not be the last.
Me myself as a premature 2-month early baby was wheeled into the wrong room.
Nope. No.
Because I did not look like my mother.
We have from the very beginning, fresh out the womb.
Huh?
Our children did not leave our sight for that specific reason.
Oh yeah,
when they were wheeled off to get circumcised, either my husband or I went with them.
Yep.
If they needed to have tests done, you're doing it in our fucking room, or we're going.
And Sarah, what specific reason are you talking about?
What did I tell you, Tavius? If we ever ended up accidentally having a child, I say accidentally, because that's not on purpose. If we ever accidentally ended up having a kid, what is your job? You have to run down the hall with a what? A Sharpie.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to put your initials on the heel of that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's my baby.
Oh man.
Yeah, she was not apologetic about it. She was not sympathetic about that. My child is still, while she's telling me I grabbed the wrong mother, my child is still screaming bloody fucking murder. Just woke up from anesthesia. Just had he's screaming. Just had his tonsils and his adenoids removed. And she grabbed the wrong parent. And I elbowed every bitch in my way to get to my child.
Damn straight you did. Damn straight you did. And we were
And then
talking about, oh, oops. Oh, there you are. No. Like, was missing? I was not missing.
No, I was exactly in the room that you put me in.
Yes.
So we came off the surgery.
Your ass grabbed the wrong white bitch. That's what happened.
Yep. She grabbed a blonde, blue-eyed mom.
Yep.
And this is unfortunately not the first time this has happened. This is the first time this has happened in a medical office. But when we first moved to Old Hickory and we were, for lack of a better term, church shopping, we went to a church and I was taking my children in to register them for the nursery for the service and was asked, now who is this? Who are you? I'm his fucking mom. My kid. I got the stretch marks to prove it. So this is normal basis, unfortunately.
This is so relatable. I mean, I don't have children, but this is relatable as a child.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. This is like the traumatic us as adults story that I think every single person in this entire chat has dealt with at some point, where like you are with your parent who doesn't look like you, and that's not your parent.
Are you sure you're not adopted?
Oh, that's my favorite. Are you sure?
Are you sure? Like, I don't know.
Nope.
Well,
pretty positive.
I've been
pretty positive.
On that boob for at least 4 years.
Oh.
Right?
Because if we were, that was a long fucking con right there. they played that one real good.
Like, the only way that you would not be, like, you would be unsure that was your parent is if you were separated very, very young. I'm not saying, I don't know how long you breastfeed people. I don't know. I don't give a shit.
It depends.
But, you know what I'm talking about. Like,
Time. There's a certain amount of time, and it happens.
I'm sure there are milestones in which someone needs to not shit their own pants and stuff. I don't know how any of that stuff works. Yeah. I don't know. Babies leak.
I had when I was, I think, a freshman in college, there was, I was walking down the street with my dad. My dad's white and my mom is Filipino. And we were like snuggling because I love my dad.
Sure.
And my sister and my mom and my best friend, who is half Japanese, half Caucasian, were walking probably 6 to 8 feet behind us. And we walked past this apartment building and there were a bunch of white frat dudes on the stoop of this building. And I didn't see this. My family walking behind us saw this. Dude thought I was my dad's mistress and started yelling shit at us and saying we were disgusting, that our age difference was gross and how could you blah, 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 blah. Gross shit. I didn't even hear any of this. My best friend whips around at him and goes, "He's her fucking dad, you asshole." And dude,
yes to the friend.
Drunk into a reason. I don't know what I would have done if I'd see. I mean, I probably would have screamed at him. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. but I don't.
We'll see.
I like this is another opportunity.
There's a Travis
see.
about it.
I'm gonna find this former Northeastern student, and we'll see what happens.
I've got
I'm going to recreate the whole situation. I'll make it happen again, and then we'll see what I have to say next time.
I've got LDS genealogy skills. We can hunt this mofo down.
Fucking find him. I love that my subconscious brain like wants to go back in time and do something to this person.
No, it's fine. I've got the skills of both the LDS like genealogy core and catfish on my side. Can make this happen.
Like, yeah.
Just like kill Josh.
I do love how all the end of these stories end up like, but yeah, that's how all of the racism ends up with just everybody's stories like, and then it happened, and I was like, but
so another little part of my story. I don't think I texted this to you guys because this happened the next day. So I called.
The intrigue?
Yes. So they also didn't tell me that they had called in prescriptions for my son.
They didn't tell you?
They didn't tell me. It wasn't written on his discharge paperwork. Nobody said anything. Just let us go on about our day, not knowing that he has
antibiotics, probably.
Antibiotic and a steroid and like all of these medications he's supposed to be taking the few days like post-surgery. Didn't say anything. Didn't find this out until I checked the My Health at Vanderbilt, trying to get a school note saying, hey, my kid's not going to be in school.
In the
oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Prescriptions. So my husband, I call, and I am not a very confrontational person. I've had a chance to calm down. I came home and I cried about it. And then I called and said, hey, I want to tell you about my experience.
No shit.
I was not very happy. And somebody fucked some shit up. And the lady that I talked to was very rude about it on the phone. Obviously, I don't sound brown, but she had known me from the previous day being there because she checked me in and was very rude and said that it was my fault because I left the room after my child was screaming. And my husband proceeded to call in, who is definitely not brown.
Yep.
And a very big yes, and ripped all of them a new asshole. So that was positive. Yeah,
that is what shouldn't be necessary, though.
Absolutely.
Is not. It shouldn't be necessary. It shouldn't.
No.
All of those steps. None of them should have been necessary. Like 0 steps.
You know why?
Like, it shouldn't have gotten to your white husband.
No.
It shouldn't have gotten that far.
Because I know for a goddamn fact that they give wristbands to the children and the parents that have identical barcodes on them.
Yep.
Identical barcodes.
So, it's like they're systematically trying to fix it, but systematically making a problem.
Yes.
So my commentary on this is you, the audio listener, need to go watch this as a video on YouTube because you just need to look at all of our faces as Sierra is telling this story.
And none of us are surprised.
No surprise. But the faces are of I'm so fucking done with this shit. What the fuck?
Yep.
It was a little bit cathartic to me to look at, 4 other faces while this story is happening and go, oh, okay, we're all in the same place of just like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I literally was called an Alaskan Malamute in preschool because my mom put it on the form because she thought it would be funny.
It's pretty funny.
Your mom's level of pettiness is like extra.
It's pretty funny.
Oh, it's extra. When someone asks you if your kids are adopted, and you say, yes, they're Alaskan Malamutes, and then they go, did you meet their tribe? Yeah, you absolutely put it on their application.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Until you're like, it's a fucking dog breed.
Yep.
Are you serious?
So I haven't gotten the question of whether or not my children are adopted. I've gotten the "Are you babysitting?"
That's fun.
Does that seem like a better question? Because that definitely doesn't.
I'm assumed to be the stepmom. Like they're not mine.
Hmm.
I was the home wrecker that came in afterwards.
Obviously. Obviously.
Well, I mean, brown girls are good at that.
Wrecking them homes.
All right,
Man,
I'm good. Bye.
Oh, is your personal life screwed now? Awesome. I'm so glad I could help. I'm out.
Yep. All right, I'm out. Bye. I can't even like sit with that sarcasm. I'm just like,
you know why?
yikes.
Because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Do you know how much work goes into wrecking a home? Like, who the fuck really wants to take the goddamn time when I've already got to explain to people what the fuck I am half the time?
No.
I don't have the extra energy.
We don't have the energy.
Screw up somebody else's home.
No.
I would rather take a bath.
Grown children
I'd rather take a
they
bath.
know that their older white dad is fucking some 20-year-olds. Not my job.
It's
Sorry,
exhausting. But this shit all happened to us when we were kids, and now it's happening to you and your kids.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
this is generational. Like,
Here's the question.
This is why we're tired.
Yes. Because who here in their teens, by wearing a solid colored t-shirt and possibly the wrong kind of chain store, was asked if they worked there?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Everyone in this conversation, probably.
Yeah.
Or followed because you were suspected of shoplifting.
Oh yeah.
So that
Restaurant.
I was more often asked for help from the white people. And mind you, I would kind of understand if it was like I was wearing a red shirt and khakis at Target, or I was wearing a blue shirt at Media Play back in the day. No.
No.
Best
I
Buy now.
have the problem of wearing a suit coat all the time, but standing around the front of any bar or thing, people are always like, "You need to here's the check your ID," and I'm like, "Dude, I'm just leaning on the bar. I'm drinking
just
it,
having a cigarette. Like,
yes,
off.
I am not the bouncer. I get it, but I'm not the bouncer
because you are brown, and generally brown people tend to be bouncers. The other half is that you have perma-stank face. So when people walk up to the door, they're like, you need all my credentials because obviously you're angry at me for not being legal. Like,
I'm definitely angry at you for not being as dope fresh as I am. So
yes. But
no, that's not true.
Can I quote you on that? Can I quote you on that very specifically?
What, me?
Yes.
Sure,
I'm angry at you for not being as dope fresh as me because it speaks to my soul.
Yes, sure. Why not? It's my permanent quote.
Oh my God!
Great.
What's
Via the 90s.
What's the Childish Gambino line?
Which one?
Is it don't fuck with me because I'm doing me better than you're doing you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, I remember, okay, me as a teenager, I didn't know what the fuck I was. So I was trying on all sorts of different skins, right? So I remember my raver period and being approached in Media Play and asked if I worked there.
All right, so Ashley is talking about a time when people went to parties where they did certain drugs that were called raver times. And then she went to a place called Media Play, which is a store that had books and CDs, which are places to put audio, and various media forms like movies that you would acquire at the time. Just helping you out there, audience.
Back in the whatever. But I have EDS. I was born premature. I don't look like anybody's grown-up person. My face still looks like fucking preteen. So imagine me at right? Hi. Yes. Ha 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 ha. Let's be best friends forever. So yeah. So still get carded, right? About to be 30 fucking 5. Still get carded.
I'm 37.
Yes. What the fuck? So
I'm a grown adult woman.
I still have to color in my eyebrows because I don't grow them on my own. Like, I'm so many baby deficient things in me. I'm just an uncooked egg, you guys. Really? Like, that's just all that's wrong with me. I'm so uncooked, you guys.
If you guys would like to see how uncooked Ashley is, please check out our YouTube page, The Mixer Legal Brew.
Uncooked pictures of me when I was an infant. I was severely, like, it's literally just me. I'm sliding off my head. I'm just not cooked, you guys. So
I mean, admittedly, you still do that, like, in person sometimes.
That's true. I was a whole 2 months early, though. Like, not just
wow.
like
That's
a whole 2 months.
very early.
Yeah. I had to go back in the oven. They had to put me in the incubator because I was not done, y'all. So like,
I'm not sure I love the cooking analogies, considering like I spend so much time cooking.
You see in my eye.
And I just don't need to.
Like
I don't need to think about you when I'm cooking like that.
Like they just don't sit there and they're just sliding. Everything's still gelatinous. Nothing is livable. It's awful.
I just don't need to think about when I'm like frying up some chicken. I don't need to think about you like that.
How about this? I was 5 pounds even. So you take out a bag of rice and you put it between your hand and your elbow. That's
no, dude, I was 7 pounds heavier than you.
Wow.
I was a big old baby.
You were a huge baby.
My chunk that I have now is not surprising. I was a chunk.
5 pounds.
Chunk.
My younger sister was 9 pounds, and my brother was 11 and a half pounds.
Your poor mom.
Seriously.
Hey, they keep doing it. Like
with EDS, thank you. What the hell? But like that whole that look of being so freaking young. So imagine me at being a teen and wearing just like kickwear, like giant fucking pants, and like a Misfits crop top, and probably some shitty ass pink neon wig because like no one understands me. Like, and wandering through media play, looking.
Little did you know how accurate you were.
Right. Looking for fucking Foo Fighter albums and like angry Tori Amos, My Pussy Hurts music, and having some old white lady come up to me and be like, "Oh, what aisle is this down? Bitch, I don't know. Don't you work here?"
I look like a raver. Do I look like I work here?
I have a blue polo shirt and khakis on to you. Does my shirt say media fucking play?
Where is my name tag? Do you see a name tag?
I am an unaccompanied minor.
No, because if they look at names, they have to actually read them, and they sound different than they have to actually hear.
What the hell?
And then I become Travis or Tavius or whatever variant they want.
That's my favorite.
Tarvu.
No, favorite.
No, man, it's amazing for my name for people that like Tavius. It's not. I mean, honestly, if you look the word, it's not really that hard to figure out. Tavius is the best you can give me. Yeah. Tarvius, Tavius, Travis, Trevor. None of these names are in the fucking realm. I've heard also.
Someone is literally
exactly. That's what it feels like.
Trevon
to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
About like his because we have power of attorney for each other. So sometimes schedules it's easier for me to call for him. I'm like, oh, is your husband Trevon Marshall? No.
No, he's not.
It's
it is not.
Tavius.
I have to do that. It's like Octavius without an Oc. And they go, oh.
Yep. Honestly, that works for most of the world, and I don't know why.
So hard.
Also, I go like I say that, and then I go like Octavius, like Caesar or Augustus, and they're like, no. And I'm like Octavius, like that Doc Ock, and they're like, no. And I'm like, so why do you know Octavius? What do you know Octavius from? How do you know that if you don't know those two dudes? What other place are you picking this up from?
Seriously.
Mystery.
Not that my name is hard, but I say Sierra like the mist because they generally spell it correctly.
Yep.
That's fair.
I think my reference is too old now because 90s kids are older now. So my reference was Clarissa Explains It All without the C.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Clarissa did not explain it all.
No, but she did show you how to get a ladder to your girlfriend's place, though. I mean, that was important.
And not get any ass in the process.
And no repercussions from just hanging out all the time via ladder.
That implies living in a place that a ladder could go to.
That's
true.
I'm like, I've never lived in a place where a ladder, like, actually, the place that I live right now is the first place in my entire ass life where someone could, like, come up to my room via ladder.
Well, I feel bad about this the whole time that I haven't done that more often.
That's true. Dude,
all right. Next time we hang out, you're going to, like, go up. I have a fucking porch on my door. Like, we could still, like, outside hang out.
Shut your face. That sounds amazing.
We're doing it.
Yes.
Okay. So funny ass story about the house that I live in is I know
Uh-oh. I guess fans for a second, we went out. And
you've never been there. Okay.
No, I'd only heard.
Okay, you've actually literally been. You've been here. You've been to my house, but like.
No, but when I stepped in, I was like, "Oh, the house of yore." Like I'd never actually been there. I'd only heard the stories about.
Okay, so Tavius knows of the house that I live in.
No,
these stories. Which is
now you must tell the
story.
Okay. So rough. I will give a quick synopsis of my experience in that house because I didn't figure out till later. But in that house, what?
Can I be Angus?
Oh, well, sure. But I wasn't going to even tell that story that much or that far. But long story short, I've been drunk in that house with different people who lived there, very, very drunk when I was in late teenage, early college years. Very drunk in that house. And then another people have lived in that house, and I got drunk with them. And another group got at that house. I did acid with them there at some point. And at that certain point, me and a friend of mine, Nathan, definitely talked about how the fire in the fireplace was a phoenix, and that the ceiling fan above the place was a very sad ceiling fan. It looks very sad, and I still think to this day it looks very sad. But Josh, at some point when we were hanging out, after many years of me knowing people in this place, they said, "I'm sorry, I'm an ass." Oh my God, fuck me.
You got this.
Said, "I live at this address." And I was like, "Yeah, I knew somebody who lived around there. It's probably something like, but it's not this house." And then they were like, "Spiral staircase?" And I was like, oh yeah, spiral staircase. Oh no, there's a certain point that I've been acid on that house, and somebody when the front door just slid it open while I was on acid and said, "Shh, this is not for you." And then sealed the doors closed. And I just went, I gotta go.
Ridiculous
I gotta go.
Journeys in this house than I have.
Safe space.
My single favorite story from that house, because it was was it the time that you guys didn't know that you were both tripping at the time?
Yeah. So later in that day, basically people were on acid. We didn't know we're on acid. We all saw each other then later at a Waffle House. And then we all tried to pretend we weren't tripping with the same people as we sat at Waffle House tripping.
But in the
we're all just trying to be like, we're being normal. We're being super normal.
Can I just talk about how good it would be to go to a Waffle House with all of y'all right now?
Oh yeah, that sounds like a wonderful time.
Like I could fuck with some hash browns right now. Like
I was literally just thinking about potatoes.
No, what we need is just one of us to have a griddle.
Yeah.
Because we don't need an intermediary.
Future house updates is one of my things. My requirements is I'm buying a griddle for the house. So
I'm not saying I'm down, but
one of my requirements is that the place always be stocked with salted butter.
Mm-hmm.
Already there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have we met?
I will make all the breakfast food. You have no idea.
That's really good because I don't make breakfast very often because I just don't eat breakfast very often.
Toaster strudels.
Oh, okay. Ashley, I have to tell you.
Oh, fuck.
Last year, I became obsessed with learning how to make a perfect French omelet. And I made myself French omelets every day for 2 weeks until I could do it perfectly and like fold it and slide it right out of the pan. And then you cut.
So,
oh my God, we're
what I'm saying is we need, my current housing situation is my partner, who is far more privileged than I am, is trying to buy a house. And Tave and Ash are roommates. That's the goal. How do I make the hybrid, like commune / polyam friendly house that I want? Hey, gonna have to talk to you and Dan, because I want exactly that.
Heck yeah.
How do we make that work? Because I just want to make food with and for all of y'all.
All the time. All the time.
You have to do is buy a griddle.
I'm Filipinx. I need people to cook for.
David's the cooker. I'm the baker. I'm the pastry and the dessert person. That's my jam.
Because I don't know how to do that. But I will make all the lumpia.
Tave is all the Louisiana and the chili and the go and all that shit.
I've got a lot of Irish and Jamaican and Louisianan going in. So whenever I make food, it's just too much. I make a this sized version of it.
Whatever, you patchy haired
And
motherfucker.
usually
No, I told you, you patchy haired motherfucker. Your family is straight Haitian.
Yeah, no. I know.
Dude.
Every time we see pictures of Haitian people, we're like, yeah, that's probably where it comes from.
That is your people. They have your faces. They have your hair.
That in no way negates anything that Dave just said, though.
But still big pots. Big pots.
Yeah, that in no way negates what Dave said, though. Like,
big pots.
Haiti also has experienced colonialism.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Many French people.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, admittedly, Haiti did do the really badass thing of killing all the white settlers.
Yeah, they did.
And I'm forever here for it. Because they did that. But that does not negate what Dave said about his heritage.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. We've just been finding,
make pots of things. That's how I know.
Going through genealogy, it's great when you see similar genetics and you see your bone structure, the exact bone structure of your family, or how many times have you watched some sort of History Channel special and you've been like, oh dude, those are my fucking people. They look just like my fucking people. They look 4 generations of my fucking family. Who are these people? I need to go look them up. It's that type of thing. So there are so many times that we'll watch a documentary that has nothing to do with genealogy or genetics or anything like that. It might be something else. Might be, I don't know, whatever. Coffee beans, whatever the fuck. I don't know. And I'll be just like, oh my God, fucking Haitian people are your goddamn people. They look like your daddy. They look like your daddy's daddy. They look like your daddy's mama. They look like all of them. Dude, we need to figure out who you are related to. But it's so hard because... you know
because
what?
colonialism.
You know what doesn't last over water? Paper.
So that's a really interesting thing though that you bring up though, because this is something that I've dealt with in that looking at people who look like me.
Yeah.
And the one group of people that I've ever seen that I consistently look like are when I go back to my Romani heritage.
Right.
And that is where I see oh shit, I look like these people. Not just there's a semblance of, it's oh shit, no, and it makes a lot of sense because I have Romani in my own heritage. And and it also makes sense insofar as mixed things, because Romani, that is a vague ass ethnic term anyways, because it's where the fuck were they from? All of Africa and Europe and some Asia?
You know what
Romani means?
It means the seed was strong with this one.
yeah, exactly. Exactly that.
Yeah.
Larissa seems to have some thoughts. Larissa, do you have some thoughts?
Oh, thoughts about looking like people?
Yeah. I've seen your fire keep bursting. Like you're just.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking weird, especially as a mixed person, because like you see yourself in lots of different places. Like I don't just see myself in like other Filipino people or white people. I see myself in Mexican people. I see myself in Canadian people. I see myself all over Latin America, honestly. And a lot of that is like, you trace that back. It's Spanish colonialism. I like, my research on Spanish colonialism has been more and more intense as the years have progressed from the time that my mom first started talking, because we didn't learn about that shit in school.
Why would you? You didn't think it applied to you.
We didn't learn about any of that shit in school. We didn't learn about the Spanish colonial period. Hell, we didn't even really learn about the American colonial period.
No,
so
why not?
I didn't learn that the Philippines was an American colony in school. I learned that from my mom.
That is such horseshit.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to see that and then trace it all back to like powers that existed and people that just and like then seeing that as also like the roots of capitalism and like just it's weird. It's strange to me to see myself in a lot of places, but it's like sometimes it's strange and sometimes it's like comforting and sometimes it's strange. You know what I mean? Like
You feel like a part of it, but separate from it at the same time.
Yeah.
You feel like
it's part of you, but you have no influence or control on it. You know what I'm saying?
Feel like part of it, but you can't claim it.
Yes.
And that sucks. So
Sierra?
I don't feel like I look like any side, at least of my family. I think so I've never been to New Orleans or Louisiana, but I feel like I look a little Creole, and part of my soul wants to go and be with the Creole people so that I blend in, because I've never once in my life blended in. It's always been like that one token brown person in the room, or that one token lighter brown person in the room. There's definitely some family traits, I guess, or characteristics that have passed down. I mean, obviously I didn't just poof and there I was. That didn't happen. I mean, it could have happened. I might not remember it, but
he's super sweet.
I'm pretty sure that's not how the genetic story goes, and I think I heard the rough details.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling my kids.
Yep.
That's how you got here.
Yeah, virgin poof births. Just I birthed out of
exactly
time and space.
I just feel like I look like I don't know, like when I see pictures of your typical mixed person, your African American and Caucasian mixed person, there I am. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to like say, because
I think it depends. It really does. It really does depend on where you are.
Yeah.
Had a conversation with you know Christina. This was months ago, or months.
Could have been yesterday.
Years. I mean,
time means nothing. The apocalypse is happening currently. There's no point.
So back when we went to visit Louisiana for Audra's powwow, right? So we were down there in Natchitoches, and I told Christina the story about us stopping at that bar, like in the middle of the day, in between the morning events of the powwow and the family event at night. We had stopped at this kind of like bar and kind of the main drag by the river. And it wasn't that busy.
This is before the apocalypse, by the way.
Way before the apocalypse.
We were stopping at bars while people are getting COVID. Just to be clear, don't do that. Wear a mask.
No.
Seriously, don't do it. Fuck you if you're going out to restaurants and eating at them.
I'm telling stories from 3 years ago. This is what I'm talking about. I see no one. So, but I had to go to the bathroom. You all got beers before me and went and sat outside. I was the last one to get a beer. And so I was waiting at the bar, and this guy who had come from the powwow early in the morning, I had bought a pair of earrings from one of the vendors there. And I guess, I don't know, maybe because of the mohawk too. And I was sitting at the bar, and he comes up and not hitting on me, just kind of like friendly chit chat is like, you know, hey, are you from here? I was like, no, I'm from Tennessee. Came down for a friend's powwow and blah, blah, blah. And he turns to me and goes, oh, awesome. I'm Four Winds Cherokee. What tribe are you from? And I went, no, I had no way to respond. Like, my anxiety welled up so fast that the bartender came back with my beer. I grabbed my beer and went, I don't know, my family's history was erased. And I ran away. I couldn't say anything. I had no response. I was like, I have no idea. Their history was erased. I'm sorry. Like,
Oh my god.
How fuck is it though?
I couldn't do anything.
So that your
just,
response to that is
outside,
like shame though.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me what tribe I was from, and I have no idea because I don't know where I come from.
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. And like telling Christina that story, she goes, that's crazy. Like, until you just said that, I couldn't even put native on you. I saw white and black mix. And then you said that and I went, oh, duh. But it really, like, it depends on who you're next to. And for most of us, at least,
Who you're
the
sitting next
mixed community, it's not just one generation of mixedness.
Sorry, Larissa, what was that?
I would just it like the way us as mixed people look different depending on who we're close to, who we're sitting next to. Like that is like
the whole ass thing.
The whole ass thing.
Which is a hilarious thing, though. But if you see a table of mixed people, you don't have a fucking like you're confused, but you don't think that anybody of those are like confusing. You just go like, oh my god, that's a lot of weird browns. I don't know what's going on, but like there's a lot of weird browns.
Only because you know the difference in the shades. Like anybody else would think we were all brothers and sisters from like giant ass commune family.
Oh my god, that's too real. That's so real.
Like, can we just tell people that when we go out?
We're Kardashians?
Yes.
I have no idea.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that life. I don't want to be associated with that cesspool of bullshit.
Before Taven
Can it be a Kardashian or a Kardashian?
Actually, I'm happier with Kardashian. Actually, I want the
Kardashian. I can fuck with Kardashian. I cannot.
I would rather be a spoonhead than a Kardashian.
I'm just saying they could have made Gold Dukat better. I'm just saying they could have made it better. At the end of the day, they were lazy to go with Gold Dukat. They didn't they tried to give him a plot. Gold Dukat, Star Trek audience there. Anyways, Gold Dukat, they could have made it better. They could have made it better.
So something though that like that I relate to really hard with this conversation is the kind of racism that I've experienced in Europe versus here. Because the racism that I experienced in Europe is very, very, very different than here. Because the racism that I experience here is what people can code me as, and then what they want to do with that.
Right.
So if I'm around more black and brown people, they'll see me that way. And if I'm around white people, they'll not see me as white, but they'll be just confused.
Yeah.
In Europe, people see me as Romani, and they treat me accordingly. And it is the only reason I've gotten away with functioning in Europe is because I typically always have a cello on me. So someone's like, oh, well, that's a cello. That's a fancy instrument. And it's not a violin, which is like an instrument that is used on a lot of Romani and just general traveling people culture. It's cello. So very clearly you have some culture to you. And even with that, holy shit, like I'm never, like I don't fuck with France at all. Because like the most blatant, just like, admittedly, I wasn't terrified for my life, which is very different than here.
It's different.
But the first time
That's so
someone
sad that that has to be like.
That's the qualifier.
Yeah, like
There are levels.
qualifier. Not frightened for my life. Still racist.
Like no,
just generally a feeling of unease.
Yeah, it was because I mean I remember the first time just like old ass white lady in France spat on me in the subway, and I was just like, what the fuck? And like what I had gathered from what she had said, she was just calling me a fucking racial slur here, gypsy. Also, if you use that word, fuck you. If you do not have that identity for you as a racial identity or ethnic identity, fuck off. Don't use that word.
Basically,
if you do,
it is the same as saying nigger anywhere.
It is the same thing.
It is the same as saying nigger. It is taking an entire embodiment of a race and attributing them with all of the worst attributes that you could to a person and giving that a word and then calling the whole race that. So please stop.
So also, if you're a white person who's like a free spirit listening to this, don't use that word.
You're not a gypsy. Please don't say that someone gypped you out of something.
Oh, God.
Lots of different things. Just think about your daily use of the word gypsy and how much it actually, like, weaves into the shit that you say. Just
because
take account of it. Just for one day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Continue.
But, yeah. No, I just think about, like, my experiences with racism, like, here versus Europe, and it's very weird. It is a very weird, because, like, it is ironic, like as Sierra was like alluding to, like it's really fucking sad that that's my like litmus test on things, and that I will say I never felt scared for my life. I was definitely uncomfortable and angry and upset, but not scared for my life like I am here. Like I still like there was like the during that time, you know, when JJ's shut down.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I wasn't at that meeting is because I had one of the more awful experiences with racism at JJ's. So that story goes to like it's just basically I was hanging out, I was reporting on Music Row, and I had like a shit ton of time between two sessions that were on Music Row.
Yeah.
So I went to JJ's because JJ's was a good place to go. It was like you could go get some coffee or some fucking tea.
Nobody bothers you.
And just like no one fucking cares.
Yeah.
So I'm standing outside smoking a cigarette, and I got my cello on my back. I'm hanging out there, and they're like, this person goes into the store, and like they're very clearly eyeing me, and I'm like, what the fuck's all that about? From the time of them going into the store and them coming out of the store, they clearly called the police. And so I'm like sitting here, and this cop comes up to me. It's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, I'm about to go have another cup of coffee, and I'm smoking a cigarette right now. What's the problem? And like this cop is like,
establishment. What the fuck problem?
I am patronized. I am giving business to the place that I'm standing out of. I've literally already had like 3 cups of coffee.
I'm patronizing here. Don't patronize me.
Exactly. Thank you.
So I'm and like this cop is like, what's this instrument on your back? I'm like, it's a cello. And he's like, well, do you own that? And I was like, yeah. It's in my entire life. And it went down to I literally had to like identify my instrument with this person. And it got to the point like I did not have to play it. Also, I'm really glad that I didn't, because that would have been fucking awful.
You didn't. Yeah.
But like it got to the point like the conversation, it's that same old telltale white guy with the fucking gun where like hand on the fucking holster. And I'm like, am I gonna like fucking die right here? And I knew exactly why that happened. It's because that one white lady who walked into the store saw someone who's a fucking terrorist with a fucking like gun bomb on their back and doesn't know what a fucking cello is. And like it's like, so I'd always had like really negative, like from that point forward, I was just really negative feelings about JJ's, because like I know it was, for me, it was a good hang well before I knew y'all.
And also like I'm not getting petty into it in any way, but there's a different age, though. The owners had changed for when you hung out there to when I hung out there. Also, those owners had acted a little racist towards me and Herb, but we started fixing those things in there. And then by the time you started hanging out there, it was different owners. It's a Christian owner who is also, yeah. But at the end of the day, that conversation, yeah. I didn't hang out there anymore. I mean, honestly, you were smoking outside, so you're hanging out at different JJ's than I was, because I was smoking inside.
That's
when
true.
That was not JJ's. It was still an inside smoking JJ's.
That was indoor smoking establishment.
Yeah, like you just laid on the couch and just smoked too many cigarettes and drank too many beers and coffee. You were like, oh, I've had too many beers. Give me a Nietzsche studying, which was just like 4 shots of espresso and chocolate.
Yeah, white chocolate at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very much.
It wasn't better, but it was definitely different.
No, yeah. Exactly that. That's what I was trying to say. Exactly that. It wasn't better, but it was different.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they definitely cared for artists back in the day. Like artists could do whatever the fuck they sort of wanted in there. And then it became very much just like a school study place. And once the school study place happened, all conversations of brown people, of time, of studying, all those things went away. Like it was just Starbucks. Literally you have to. Yeah, it became Starbucks. Yeah,
it's Starbucks. All the couches and the armchairs and the comfy floor seating areas and all that shit got replaced by wood tables, wood chairs, metal chairs, all that shit, like space saving stuff. Everyone can use more, that kind of thing. It became like an internet cafe.
Yeah,
and
honestly, and I'm not trying yet again for everybody who's outside of Nashville and who's listening to this, or even who are in Nashville and don't know what this is. It was a sort of place with a piano and a guitar around where if anybody wanted to pick those up and actually just fucking hang out and sing and play together, it was fine. And then all that stuff got moved out because people just started being assholes, or because the most people in there were assholes.
If you started playing something like, slapjack with a friend at a table, people would start looking at you like side-eye because you're making noise kind of shit. Whereas like before it wasn't like club level of noise, but you were definitely screaming over another group that was also playing some like slapjack or ERS in the corner kind of shit.
I guess.
Yeah, it was a community. It was a community.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm curious as to Larissa, with some of the shit that you've dealt with in the industry, I'm curious as to experiences you had going out and getting a cup of coffee on a break and shit like that, in that area, because that area is super hella fucking. Yeah, I mean, I that was specifically the Music Row area, but really, this could be translated to anywhere in Nashville.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that anytime I've had a session around Music Row area, there's usually one place that I would go if I had a break, and that was PM. And that was because I used to work there, and also because I knew as an Asian I was safe there.
Mm-hmm.
That was always the spot I went.
It's so funny because I'm gonna get shit listed for this. I think PM's food is hot garbage. It is mediocre for the prices.
There we go.
Best.
There we go. That's the right answer. I am 100% with you. It's not hot garbage. It is just not worth the price that I'm paying for it.
No. If that shit were a $5 place, I'd be here for it.
Yes.
Yep. That being said, though, I've never felt unsafe at PM.
No.
And that is saying a lot because that is right in the heart of Belmont.
Of hell.
That is you got your fucking Chagos in fucking all that shit right around there where I do not want to be brown there. If I'm brown in PM, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
As a dancer,
Josh, what did you say?
Performed at Belmont a bunch of times with Fall, and as a brown dancer wearing very little clothing, doing aerial shit, and when you're done performing, the last thing you want to do when you're hot, sweaty, and overworked is put more clothes on.
Right.
So, like, your cover-ups are as thin as you can possibly tolerate, but, they might be long, but they're thin. So after a performance and you're all like, oh my God, I need to eat all the fucking calories. Going across the street to PM was like, that was the only question. We're going there because no one's going to fuck with us. No one's going to ask us dumb questions like, what strip club did we come from? Like, no one's going to ask us that shit.
Sierra is asking a question.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say you cut out for a second, but you were saying you like definitely wouldn't want to go to a certain area, but I missed where you said.
Oh, I mean,
in the general area where PM is by Belmont, I don't want to go to any of the other restaurants in that area unless they're owned by the same owners of PM, which used to be the International Market. What was there was one other restaurant there. The fuck was it? No, it was like that.
Arnold bought the building 2 doors down from PM and made it into like he had two different restaurant ideas in that place.
Boulevard.
Was
the name of the place.
Oh,
first it was called Cha Cha, and then it was called
Boulevard. I remember.
Yeah. Wait, somebody had a place called Cha Cha?
Mm-hmm.
Arnold Mint. Of course.
It was a shitty taco bar.
Still better than Chago's.
Nope. We went there one night after a sideshow and got angry for the first time at tacos everywhere. Like,
don't make me. Oh no! I have a horrible memory. But if I don't like tacos, there's a problem.
Okay, what I will say about Chago's is their tacos are better than fucking bar taco.
I've never been to bar.
That's not a good review. I'm just saying
we're just bitching about taco places now.
I mean,
how about this? Go ahead, Larissa. Go ahead, Larissa. Go.
I got super lucky because my first job in Nashville was at PM. I had just moved to Nashville and I went there to eat, and I saw that there was a calamansi martini on the menu, and calamansi is a Philippine lime. And I was like, I'm getting this.
Yeah, obviously.
And I guess Arnold had just moved back to Nashville, and he saw that I got it, and then he looked at me, and then he asked me if I was Asian, and I was like, yes. And he was like, you want a job?
That's the shit.
And then gave me a job right there. And that was my first job in Nashville. It was one of many Asian restaurants that I would easily get a job in Nashville.
One of the many. One of my favorite. Let me just impart to you one of my favorite jobs. Oddly enough, I'm very serious, and this will sound terrible, but these people were so awesome and so sweet to me and so caring. But there was a diner that I worked for in Nashville. I don't even know if they're going to survive this. Like, seriously.
No one is.
No, but you guys know where Dalt's is on Whitebridge? They're like famous for their like their handmade milkshakes, and like it's like super Americana diner food. Mm-hmm. So I'd worked there for probably about 4 years, and there was this jazz band that would come in and play on Sundays, and the band themselves were all like established older Nashville musicians, like studio musicians. All of these dudes have had careers, and like this is their like, we get to play together because it's fun on the weekend at this one random restaurant because people pay us. We just really, it's an excuse for us to see each other and get drunk, like that kind of thing. And everyone, like, they would rent out the sunroom of this whole restaurant. The band would set up in the front, and the rest of everybody who would play, like, who would pay the cover to come in and see the band and sit there and eat and drink were, I think the youngest person was 66, 67. And there was And I do count one black person in the group. And
that checks out.
Yeah. For about a month, it was alternating of like who was going to get this giant group of old timers and who was going to, serve them for 4 hours every Sunday night, because who the hell wanted to do that? And I think I pulled a short straw one day, and I decided, I don't know why, with this group, I was just like, you know what? This is the one group I'm not going to be the fucking house slave for.
Ooh.
And I just don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give as good as they, give me. And because older people really like to dig at young people, especially waiters. Like, that's just like their jam. It's the only time they get to like dig at people is when they go out to eat and they're like, oh, look at the teenager, even though you're like 40.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to dig at you. But I would go in here and these people were awesome. And I would make sure that I knew all of their freaking beverages. I knew what everyone drank. So like the second I saw them walk into the restaurant, I would order that beverage so that by the time they sat down, that drink was in front of them, like that kind of shit. And they were the sweetest group of really old white people I have ever waited on in my life. Like, so much so that if I ever had to get someone to cover for me, they were legit concerned and would ask the bar for like my number. Like, when I had to leave because like the health issues, like they sent a card for me because they were worried about me not coming back. Like, first experience like I had with like older white people where they weren't concerned so much for like their help was leaving, like their favorite help, which I've had that feeling before. Mm-hmm. When Tave and I got engaged and like they were all about, oh, I want to see the ring and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, here you go. And they go, we have to meet him first, right?
We've been together for 10 years, by the way. We've been together for 10 years. All right, guys. By the way, to the audience and to everyone, actually, I know it seems like a weird thing, but we will have more information and more on the story later for all of these stories. Love you guys in the mixer. Love you all the things. And this episode is about to be over, I guess, around, no.